Hey y'all, welcome back. This is Level Up Medical Coding. This is where I help aspiring medical coders go from confusion to clarity with confidence. If you are new here, I am Kat. I'm your go to medical coding guru. And today we are going to get into the real tea about your first year's salary as a medical coder. So let me just set this straight right now. This is not some information that I got off of Google. This is going to be an actual deep dive into my personal medical coding journey, the salary that I've attained over the years in this industry. So I'm going to be sharing what I've learned and what I wish I knew about money and mindset during this whole ordeal and some things that could have helped me from day one. So if you are an aspiring coder or you fresh out of school or you just kind of want to know what a medical coder makes, then this is the video for you. So we're just going to get right into it. All right, so let's take it back to 2015. I had just switched from billing to coding and I was working for a large healthcare system in my local area. When they offered me the role as a medical coder, I got a 41-cent pay increase from being a medical biller. Y'all, I felt like I was on top of the world. That 41% did something to my soul when I saw that. It made me feel like I finally stepped into a professional career, like I was an actual professional. My starting pay was about $21 an hour. It was full time. It was on site 100%. And we worked in the basement. Yep, me and the team of outpatient professional fee coders, each in our little cubicles working in the business office basement. But the vibe was real chill. We all wore our headphones. We all took time and joked with each other. We kept the morale up. We helped each other out. It felt like a little coding family. And even though I did not have credentials yet, I still felt like a professional coder. I was given 1 year to get certified, and I finally passed my CPC exam and became a CPCA within that year's time frame. That first year changed everything for me. I learned so much and it gave me a glimpse into the future of what was to come. It was one of the best years of my professional life, honestly. Now, luckily for me, I did not have to go job hunting. I actually transferred internally. My billing supervisor actually saw a job posting for a medical coder and she encouraged me to apply and literally walked me over to the coding department on the day of my interview. She actually coached me through the whole thing, uploading my resume, interviewing tips, and how to follow up with the thank you email. I'll never forget that. Networking and internal moves really does matter in this profession. My transition was really smooth, but I know that's not always the case for everyone. Sometimes just getting your foot in the door is the biggest hurdle, which is why I always recommend at least taking some sort of job in the healthcare system, even if it's not medical coding or medical billing related. If it's somewhere in the healthcare system, it's usually easier to transfer within your healthcare system than to be an external candidate and fresh off the street and apply for the job. A lot of times with healthcare, especially, I'm sure this is true with a lot of other professions, but speaking from healthcare, they are going to look to hire within before they post a job to external candidates. They try to keep everything in house because you are already familiar with the healthcare system, the morale, the values, the culture, and they will rather promote within because healthcare especially has a really strong emphasis on making your career go to the next level. That's why a lot of healthcare systems offer tuition reimbursements, advanced credentials to help you pay for your advanced credentials, to help you to support your education and career advancement. So if you just get your foot in the door with any position in the healthcare position field, that usually allows you to transfer within. Make sure when you get your foot in the door that facility has a coding department because ultimately you want to transfer from wherever you start at to the coding and billing department. but it is recommended or most beneficial to you if you can get something in the revenue cycle as opposed to anywhere in the healthcare system. But your second best move, if you can't get a revenue cycle position when you first start out, your next best move is to get any type of position in that healthcare industry, in that healthcare environment, so that you can just kind of just transfer internally. Anyway, back to my job. In the first year, I got about a 30-cent raise and an annual bonus. But that bonus was taxed at 40%. Man, that hurt a lot. I ain't even gonna lie. Still, for me as a single mom of three, $21 an hour was a good life changing pay for me. It allowed me to pay my bills, feed my kids, finally get a little breathing room financially. But looking back now, I wish I had been more financially savvy. I wish I would have saved a little bit more, not increase my lifestyle according to my new pay rate, build my emergency fund, created a vacation fund for the kids. Instead, I just went ahead and inflated my lifestyle because I got more money. Just because you make more doesn't mean you should spend more. So just take that as a lesson from me. Like a lot of times when we are getting promoted or getting transferred to a new department and we start making a little bit more money, we tend to take on more responsibilities financially, try to do the stuff that we always wanted to do because ultimately we went after this career field so that we can have an increase in pay. But it is really, really smart to live your same lifestyle for at least a year or two, get yourself a cushion, and then slowly and gradually inflate your lifestyle. So that's just my little tidbit of financial advice to you that I wish I would have taken back in the day. All right, now let's talk about value. That first year taught me how intense and mentally demanding coding really is. I coded for so many different areas and so many different specialties: behavioral health, oncology, hospice, palliative care, ED, just to name a few. Each had their own rules, their own challenges, and their own caveats. Was I underpaid? Well, if not at first, I didn't feel like I was. I was just grateful for the opportunity to learn and to get my feet wet in all these different areas. But by year two and three, I did feel a little undervalued. I was doing cross campus coverage, learning everything, but still not seeing it in my paycheck. And when I say cross campus coverage, meaning that one day I will be working in my home area. And if the coder for another specialty that I was already trained in didn't show up, they would ask me to go to that different facility to cover the coding for that area because some providers, some specialties like to have their coder actually sitting in the office with them so that they could ask questions to and get things that they needed to have ASAP done, right there, right in their face. So I was asked to cover other coders. I was asked to back up coders when they were going on vacation or extended leaves of absence. And in addition to the work that I had to complete, that was my own specialty that I was responsible for. So the work did get overwhelming. Although, like I said, the first year, I just wanted to learn everything. I was a sponge. It was exciting. I wanted to take in as much information as I could, get all the information so I could see which specialty I enjoyed coding the most. And that was like the most valuable thing that I got from that experience. But once I, kind of got acclimated with that and became, a little bit more experienced, a little bit more seasoned, because I still think 2, 3 years in is not a bunch of time to get experience, but I was relied upon a lot. Like I had been there for a long time. And I kind of wanted my pay to reflect that. Like if I was going to be hopping around from different campuses, asked to switch my brains to each different specialty, I kind of wanted to see that reflected in my pay, and it really wasn't. So just keep that in mind. As a beginning coder, I really wish I was more of an advocate for myself to speak up on situations like that. But nevertheless, the experience was valuable because it allowed me to leverage it later on in my career. You're probably wondering, when did I experience my biggest salary jump? Well, that happened when I switched companies. Every time I asked my previous employer for a raise, I was told that the amount that I was requesting was not in the budget. So I eventually, respectfully, took my skills elsewhere. I am now a senior coder, and that from my previous position gave me a 20% raise. But it took me having more than 5 years of experience, more than two credentials, and experience in surgical coding. Since my first job, though, my salary has increased over my career about 63%. It's been a real slow burn, in my opinion, but 63% is real growth. That's nothing to laugh at or anything like that. So, my plan of action from getting to where I was to where I am now was very strategic. I did choose to master certain specialties, such as I wanted to master mental health. That's my ultimate love of coding. So that was one specialty or one area of coding that it's a non negotiable for me. I always want to at least be a part of the mental health coding team wherever I'm at. I also have master coding evaluation and management visits because most every specialty have a component of evaluation and management in that, area. So it will be to a coder's benefit, in my opinion, to all coders to learn how to code evaluation and management visits. And then I eventually took on other specialties that I was responsible for wherever I was employed at. So whether that was coding oncology, for example, or dermatology or urology, I also took ownership of additional specialties to be able to master the coding nuances for those and use those to leverage as a bargaining tool when it came time for, raises or, any salary negotiations or, anything like that. I made sure that I mastered one or two specialties, no more than three, and be able to present myself as an expert or go to a liaison for that specialty in coding that. So I hope that makes sense. Let's talk some real numbers. In 2025, new coders can expect to earn somewhere around $23 to $25 an hour. That's about $2,500 a month take home pay, probably after taxes. If you're thinking $30 to $40 an hour right out the gate, pump the brakes. That is a myth. Even with multiple credentials, you'll still be evaluated on your experience, the number of years that you've been coding, and the type of facilities that you have coded for. Coding is so nuanced because every area is different. Coding is coding, like, so you have to learn in general how to code, but each type of facility that you code for would be different. So the way you code for a correctional facility, healthcare facility, is different than the way you will code for a pediatric facility. Is different than you will code for an inpatient facility. Is different from when you code for an outpatient ambulatory facility. Is different how you will code for a private practice. Is different. It's just different. So there's so many different nuances and experiences that you as a coder will have to experience in order to be able to say that you are of value to whatever company you tend to, go to. So that's why it's really important for you to hone in on one or two, maybe three specialties and try to learn as much as you can in different areas of coding as you can so that you can present that as a leveraging or bargaining tool when you go to these different employers and you want to demand a certain amount of salary. So don't be discouraged if you are a new coder and you're being offered something in the low 20s. That's typical. It's typical for a coder to get paid. I would say average about $23 to $25 an hour, but that again, that's average. Some areas it may be a little bit lower, some areas it may be a little bit higher. And then once you become seasoned, then you get into your 30, dollars an hour, and then 40s and etc. But you have to know that you have to put in the time, the experience. I say once you have 5+ years of coding experience, then the world is your oyster. You can definitely leverage whatever skills and opportunities that you had into your benefit and sell that to the employer, market yourself in that way so that you can get the salary that you deserve and that you can live off of, and that's fair for you and the employer. But the hustler in me would not let me pass this opportunity up to talk about stacking income. I did a lot of overtime in the beginning of my career, not just for the money, but for the skill building as well. But you could also look into contracting roles for more flexibility, or starting a side hustle by documenting your journey online, for instance. Or if I could start all over, I'll record every step, like me studying, me applying, me doing interviewing, me onboarding, all of that stuff. People will watch it. People need it. You can monetize that while helping others on social media. A lot of people, just like you, are looking for a little inside information on medical coding. And so that's a easy way to kind of like get you a side hustle on and just kind of document your journey if you're okay with being on camera. But if not, like, you can also go into digital products, selling an ebook about your journey, or helping people to get into medical coding, helping people to strategically plan their career out so that they can benefit from getting the years of experience, understanding how they can become experts in certain situations so that they can leverage their knowledge and their expertise to salary negotiate. It's a lot of tidbits, it's a lot of gems that medical coders, new and old, can pass on to other people that is just genuinely interested in learning how to level up their career. On top of that, I did mention contracting. A lot of coders do also take like contract jobs where they only work a few days a week, maybe after their main 9 to 5 job, and they just kind of code for other facilities that doesn't require them to have set hours. It gives them a lot of flexibility. They can code in the middle of the night if they want to, or on weekends if they want to, or in the evenings if they want to, and they're still utilizing the skill that they paid for their education, but they are doing it on a more or less structured way. Whereas your 9 to 5 will probably demand that you're clocked in at a certain amount of time, and you come in and you report to certain departments. Contracted positions offer you a little bit more flexibility, and some contract positions even allow you to name your own terms. So that's a good way to do that. So I just say the hustler in me like to figure out how I can leverage a skill that I have, and like how can I kind of stack my money. And those are just a few tips on what I would do if I had to start all over. One thing I actually wish I knew early on was how spiritual money is. I didn't grow up with a ton of financial literacy, so when I finally got my first like big paycheck, I guess, I wasn't really ready for the responsibility of that. I really wish I would have stayed modest in my living. I wish I would have knew about investing. I would have knew about saving and planning better for my future. So my advice to you is, don't let that first big paycheck trick you into increasing your lifestyle. Treat money like a tool. But I also want to warn you too of another lesson I learned, and that's not to stay underpaid just for the experience. Yes, experience is good, but as you keep growing, as you keep going, also demand what you are worth. And another thing that I want to say is that all money ain't good money. I know I had one position that I went to because of the money that I, felt like I was worth. And they actually offered me the amount of money that I was requesting for my skill level and my services. And when I got to that clinic, it was a mess. Like, the billing department was in shambles. The director was on their way out the door. They did not have a compliance department. So we was just kind of winging a lot of the billing. We didn't know if we was actually in compliance with some of the things that we were billing. It just wasn't a very structured area, but the money was really good because they could not keep they could not keep coders, and they could not keep billers. So they did offer us, a good compensation, because they were trying to keep attracting us. But I did not feel at ease at that place. I learned a lot, That experience taught me so much. More so, it taught me what I shouldn't do as a coder more than it taught me what I should have done as a coder. But from that experience, I did get the opportunity to network with some great coders that actually, when they went on to other opportunities, they actually thought of me when there was an opening at their new facility and reached back and asked me if I was interested in working along the company that they are working at, at the time. And one opportunity did pan out to be one of the best opportunities that I ever had in coding so far in my career. That person actually, went on to a bigger, better, more robust healthcare system. When she saw that they had opening for a mental health coder, she thought of me, gave me a good reference, asked me to apply, told me to mention her name, and I got on at that facility, and it was the best experience that I've had in my career so far. So networking works. If this video has helped you, drop it in the comments below. Have you received any offers yet? Are you still applying? Let's talk about it. And don't forget, I have a bunch of guides and offers linked in the description below to help you out in your coding journey. I have a career guide on how to get started in medical coding. I have a medical coding exam playbook to help give you strategies on how to code, how to pass your medical coding exam, and so much more. So check out the link in the description below. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, share this with someone that you know that is interested in medical coding, and let me know what you think. Until next time, my name is Kat, and you have been watching Level Up Medical Coding.